Chuck Kolb, you know, is like most effective leaders of nonprofit institutions. He's not only a great intellectual leader, but he knows how to raise money. Now, what he didn't tell you about my foundation was he proposed a deal, and the deal was that if we contributed $1 million, I got to introduce Bill Donaldson. He said, for $2 million, oh, actually, I think it was $3 million, you'll be invited to make a speech. So God saved you from that event. Chuck was thoughtful enough not to mention that I'm either the oldest trustee or the longest serving trustee of this institution. So I should be very grateful that I'm even able to be here. He mentioned that the foundation is dealing with what I call a series of undeniable, unsustainable, and yet politically untouchable challenges long-term that this country is facing. And I'm very pleased to say that CED is one of our original partners. Most of us in this room are in business. And I don't know how you reacted, but it kind of bothered me a bit to read Tom Friedman of the New York Times laying out some of the challenges that we're ignoring and saying, in effect, that businessmen are MIAs. They're missing in action. So the foundation decided to entrust Chuck Kolb with an effort to try to get the business community really activated, because the more you think about these problems, if we don't get entitlements solved, if we don't get healthcare costs solved, if we don't get our savings rate solved, if we don't get our foreign debt under control, it's going to have some major impact on the economy and in turn on business. So businessmen, it seems to me, have an enlightened self-interest in doing something about these problems. But Chuck, we're delighted that you're our partner in this effort. And if you don't get a commission on entitlements and tax reform and get savings tripled, and what else, healthcare costs cut in half, we're just going to not be able to support you that much longer. I'm very pleased to introduce a good friend and a fellow trustee, Bill Donaldson. Bill chairs the CED Governance Subcommittee, and he's the author of the committee is the author of the report on long-term performance and public goals. As I think most of you know, Bill was chairman of the Securities Exchange Commission from 2003 to 2005. And I think, Bill, it is fair to say that you're totally responsible for the Bernie Madoff scandals, among others. I won't mention the others because of our friendship. Bill also has during Bill's reign at the SEC, it was a period of a great deal of constructive activity. He's been long involved in public policy. He was recently, for example, appointed to President Obama's Economic Recovery Advisory Board. He served as Undersecretary of State under Henry Kissinger and as Dean of the Yale School of Management. He obviously has a distinguished career in the private sector, having led Aetna, the New York Stock Exchange, and of course, Donaldson, Lufkin, and Generette. He also competes with me as to which is the lousiest golfer at our golf club. It's a very intense competition. But that demonstrates, Bill, how much time you've devoted to public policy and private life rather than your golf game. So it's my great pleasure to introduce someone who until recently was a very good friend of mine, Bill Donaldson.